back from the dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown has just begun. Are you ready? Let's go.
Now we're back from the dead.
It's the week of Halloween. Like, Halloween is in a couple of days, and like you'd think I would be all about it and I'd be like dressing up and like all these plans to go out, and instead I'm like, nope, I'll probably be at home working. Actually, I think we're gonna try to maybe do a ghost hunt on Halloween, and if we do, I'll try to stream some of it live for you guys. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel, and I wanted to talk about all these weird random things going on in paranormal pop culture. So first of all, who saw Samantha, who is like Samantha, however she says her name, like for Instagram. She's like this huge beauty blogger. You guys have probably seen her. She's kind of the face of Bellamy hair extensions. And she had like the silver gray hair. She was really cool. She kind of started the trend on that. Anyway, she did a Ouija inspired. So it was inspired from the show Stranger Things and from American Horror Story. And I thought her makeup looked awesome on that. I thought she did an amazing job. I thought it was so cool. There's a bunch of Instagrammers that have come out doing like Ouija themed stuff, and apparently like the new style for fall is like witchy themed like clothes and like hairstyles and hats and witchy shoes and all that stuff. So I'm like super excited. I feel like it's just my time is right now. Anyway, Samantha also did this really cool voodoo doll inspo with her, you know, I've seen a couple other Instagrammers, but Samantha killed both of the looks. I thought they were awesome, so kudos to Samantha. If my paranormal girls out there follow any of the makeup artists on Instagram, make sure you're following her because she's one of my personal favorites. Speaking of Stranger Things and American Horror Story, I haven't watched American Horror Story yet. I have it recording, but I've been watching Stranger Things on Netflix, and it's super cryptic. It's really weird. If you guys are looking for like an actual show with a script and you're interested in watching something creepy, try out Stranger Things on Netflix, and I'll probably do a video on it after I'm done with the series. It's a pretty good show. It starts out pretty intense, but so far it's pretty awesome. I'm digging all the Ouija stuff. All right, next topic is WikiLeaks, which is all of this crazy Hillary Clinton emails being released. I don't want to talk about politics, so please don't leave any politic or political comments down below. But Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, he has basically been released on this WikiLeaks website because he sent a bunch of emails to Hillary and they've all been publicized and released. So who remembers Tom DeLonge? You guys know I've talked about him. I told you when I was 16, I was completely convinced that I was going to marry Tom, and it's still in my head that maybe someday I will marry Tom, so don't burst my bubble. You know, it's like that first crush, man. Like, it never goes away, and that feeling of like, I want to marry him someday when you're like a kid, and then they age and you're kind of like, he's just not that cute anymore. Anyway, back to the topic. Okay, so Tom DeLonge, this email stuff gets released about him, and it's basically saying or implying that Tom DeLonge has alien friends, meet everyone and Hillary. So in one of the emails from 2015, Mr. DeLonge says that he would like to introduce Mr. Podesta to two very important people involved in issues relating to our sensitive topic. This is quote what Tom DeLonge said. I think you will find them very interesting as they were principal leadership relating to our sensitive topic. Both were in charge of most fragile divisions as it relates to classified science and DoD topics. Other words, these are A-level officials. worth our time and as well as the investment to bring them all the way out to you, Mr. DeLonge writes. In another email from 2016, Mr. DeLonge writes that he has been working with a former military official on the same topic and issues. He says, quote, "He just has to say that out loud, but he is very, very aware, as he was in charge of all of this stuff. When Roswell crashed, they shipped it into the laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. General McCasland was in charge of that exact laboratory setup a couple of years ago," he said. He's referring to the Roswell conspiracy theory that the U.S. government recovered an alien vessel in 1947. The military maintains that the crash at Roswell was a surveillance balloon. Interesting, really interesting. So Tom is saying he has, I don't know if he's saying he has high government official friends that know about aliens or that have witnessed stuff, or is Tom saying that he just knows high? So anyway, it keeps going on, and like, I guess the media, of course, has gone after Tom DeLonge, begging him to respond to all this. Of course, he hasn't responded. What is my opinion on this? You know what? I've known that Tom DeLonge forever has liked aliens. I told you guys I'm not really big into aliens, but I think that he's probably onto something really big. He's been trying to get this, I don't know if it's a series or just like a movie signed that's all about like real life alien watch and all this stuff. I told you guys he was connected to my friend Sean that disappeared. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my Men in Black video. I'll link it below. And so I really believe that Tom probably is somehow related to, you know, this whole like government conspiracy theories and trying to get it out into the public for people to understand that aliens exist. The only concern I have is I don't want Tom to disappear like Sean did. For God's sake, I've already lost one person in my life. The last person I need to lose is my high school crush. I will be crushed. So please, Men in Black, don't go after Tom DeLonge. That's all I'm asking. Please just let him be. What do you guys think about it? Seriously, tell me below. I want to know what you think. I know we're not like all alien channel and all that stuff. That's okay. I still like to bring this stuff up because I think it's creepy. And it came up in the middle of this ridiculous like campaign going on, like out of nowhere, like alien emails pop up. It's just crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Tom has something going on? I mean, I'm a big fan of Tom, and I've been following him for so many years, and I know how dedicated he's been to UFOs and alien life. Do you even think they exist? Do you think aliens are real? Let me know below. This really cool footage of Bigfoot came out of Michigan, and I thought it was one of the most compelling pieces that I've ever seen. So apparently in northern Michigan, they have like this area that they've rehabilitated a bunch of eagles, and they're basically trying to get all the eagles to mate and continue to make more eagles because it's our national bird and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, they have these like eagles nests, which are not tiny because eagles are very gigantic birds. And they have these cameras set up on these eagle nests because they want to see how many eggs that the eagles are laying, and they want to see, you know, about the percentage of birds that make it versus birds that don't make it. And in the corner of one of these videos, you're watching it live, and all of a sudden there's a freaking Bigfoot down. I mean, it's kind of far. They zoom it in. Hopefully I'm playing the video for you guys to see, and out of nowhere that you just see this little Bigfoot down at the bottom, and he's chilling and hanging out, and it looks like he's at a stream or gathering some wood or something. Apparently this is a really, really remote area. You know, even the wildlife preserve or the people that run it, they don't even go out in this area very often. It's kind of been untouched by a lot of humans as it is. So they were really shocked to see, even if it was somebody not, you know, just dressed as a Bigfoot, that was like a really remote place for them to be located. I like Bigfoot stuff. I would never hunt Bigfoot, mainly because I'm so uncoordinated. I would trip and fall and he would eat me. But I am compelled by it. I really like to know about these creatures and if they exist. I think the idea of it's really cool. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but I've been taking college courses for way too long because I have changed my major maybe like 8 times. And last year I finally decided I needed to go back and either try to finish up my associates and or, you know, eventually finish my bachelor's. And so I'm actually finishing my associate's degree right now. and I only have a couple of classes left. I'm on one of 2 classes I have left right now, and it's anthropology. And it's not like cultural anthropology, it's actually science-based anthropology. And one of the professor that I have, she's actually really into Bigfoot. And she's completely convinced that Bigfoot exists and Bigfoot is real. And, you know, we're learning about, like, orangutans, and, you know, this is, like, the theory of evolution. So I don't want to get in fights about, you know, is it the Big Bang or is it evolution? But she's trying to compare and say, basically, you know, orangutans are very intelligent and gorillas aren't as smart. Like, orangutans will live in societies, like, as, like, you know, a clump together, and gorillas tend to, like, go alone sometimes, and they'll hunt alone, and they're not really the best of hunters anyways, and orangutans make tools, and they're really smart, and they'll attack, and they make armies. And so she's trying to teach us that we as society, as humans, are the orangutan, and the Bigfoot is the gorilla. And he's just not as smart, but he's still, you know, humanoid, which is why he's smart enough to get away from us, and we haven't ever captured anything, like, legitimate of him. But anyway, it's been really interesting taking this class, because I don't know if I was the biggest believer before this class. Josh Gates, from all of his shows that he's done, has gotten some really compelling stuff on Bigfoot. So I've become more and more of a believer, and especially when you find a piece of evidence like this, I will also make sure I link it below so that you guys can look it up for yourselves from the original content. The next one also comes from Michigan and Lake Superior. Something's going on up in Michigan. Like, whoever's up there or up by Canada, go to Michigan and go find out all of this. Like, go find Bigfoot and this haunted ship. So they caught a ghost ship on camera. We all know most of the lakes in Michigan are supposedly haunted because there's been so many shipwrecks after the last few hundred years. And they captured this ghost ship, and I think it's really awesome. You can see that it's steamy, it's really far away. I do understand that a lot of stuff is CGI, and you have to be careful with what you see on the internet. I just thought it was really compelling. I thought it was awesome. I watched and interviewed the guy that, you know, shot this footage, and he seemed like really kind of panicked but yet excited, you know, and it seemed really natural reaction for him to give. So I thought it could definitely be legitimate, but I wanted to share it with you guys just because I thought it was so cool. Could you imagine catching a ghost ship on your iPhone camera? Like, that would make my day. Except we don't have any lakes out here in Vegas, but... Okay, who knows about the Winchester Mansion? We all know about the Winchester Mansion. So that's in San Jose, California. They have been doing a ton of renovations because they're actually going to turn it into some sort of like an inn, motel, hotel thing. I don't know what they're going to do yet. Anyway, they found a new room, apparently. One of the doors that they assumed led to nowhere actually led to a room. I don't know the story on how they found it. I just thought it was awesome. So now all of the construction workers are double checking that there isn't any other secret room. So who knows what they're gonna find. Max Spires, 39 years old. I don't know if he's from Poland or if he's from London and like he was living in both places. Anyway, he's kind of like this renowned UFO hunter. I guess he's found some really compelling stuff. He was getting ready to come forward to the public and release all of this UFO information and UFO sightings and stuff he's captured, and all of a sudden he was found dead. This just happened a couple weeks ago. I was gonna read you the message that his mom gave to people that interviewed her. So she said a few days before his death, he texted his mom with this exact phrase. It says, quote, "Your boy's in trouble. If anything happens to me, investigate." Spires lived in the United States for a few years, and then he recently lived in the UK, so I do think he was from Poland. His mother said he was making a name for himself in the world of conspiracy theories, and he'd been invited to speak at a conference in Poland in July. He was staying with a woman who he had known for a long time, and she told me how she found him dead on the sofa. But I think Max had been digging in some dark places, and I fear that someone wanted him dead. According to the report, his roommate and friends said that he was vomiting black liquid on the sofa before he died. Man, you guys, I don't know how much more clear you need to be, but if there is one thing that is so scary to investigate, it's not ghosts. it's UFOs. Like, I don't get why the government wants everyone to be so hush-hush about it. I personally watched a lot of Sean's original, footage I told you guys about in the Men in Black video. I'll link it, like I said, if you haven't seen it. And when I saw Sean's footage of, alien stuff, it freaked me out because it was like so realistic. But I already was a believer that we can't be the only life form here. That's just my opinion. I feel like you'd be ignorant to think that us little tiny people would be the only ones of existence, especially when the veil to ghosts and the paranormal has lifted so much that we can interact so clearly. But, for some reason, the government, I think they're really afraid of just chaos and people not being able to handle it. And, I think that, what happens if you open up your world to other beings? We as societies and cultures already have different laws and governments that govern, just our continents. And, and then within the continents, we have countries. Like, as America, we have to think we're really big compared to something like, France or even, London and the UK. And those are such little islands. And yeah, they're in Europe, but they're all independent. And the United States is big, but then we have the states, and each of the states have, different laws to abide by. And if we were to open up the universe, how do they make universal government rules for alien ships? Where do they park their ship? But no, seriously, I don't know how it would be handled. And I really think that there's a lot of people that aren't fully right up here, if you know what I'm saying. And I think that if it did come out, as legitimate as, paranormal is, that there are aliens and that they do exist, I think that there could be pure chaos and terror. And sadly, you have to partially blame like Hollywood and media because some of those movies that come out aren't really helpful. With that being said, like, I'm assuming aliens, like humans, there's good ones and bad ones. Sean used to educate me on that. And if you open up your world to the good ones, eventually the bad ones have to come too, So, it's just a lot of governing and stuff and that would be involved. And I don't know how it would work, but man, they try to keep these guys quiet. If there is something that I've seen, like, in the paranormal world or the unknown or the unexplained, more people drop like flies that do UFO hunting than anything else. Like, the government doesn't care if you're looking for chupacabra. They don't care if you're hunting Mothman. They don't care if you're talking to a dead person. But when it comes to an alien, they're gonna keep you quiet. And just like my Sean, he disappeared, and to this day, nobody knows what happened to him. We think he was also involved way too deep with, aliens and alien technology and all of the video footage that he had. And they made him disappear. I don't think he's dead. People have asked me that all the time. I don't think he's dead. I think that he's probably basically been taken into like a Men in Black program or something. Sean was incredibly intelligent, and he had... he flew pilot planes in the Air Force. Like, you can't be an idiot to do that. And I think that he's probably somewhere out there with his name changed, and he could be watching this right now. And, but they wouldn't waste someone that was that intelligent, that was working in the Air Force. So, but this guy, he's trying to be an independent UFO hunter, and he gets offed by the government somehow, one way or another. Or the Men in Black, whatever. We don't even know what the Men in Black really are. We don't know if they're good through the government or bad through the alien life forms that try to control it through the populace. But either way, Max Spires, man, my heart goes out to you. And condolences sent from not only myself, but the GGD family and the GGD community to your family. And may Max Spires rest in peace. And it really just goes to show you guys how dangerous some of this stuff can be, because they want to keep you quiet. If they don't want you to talk about it, they will make you hush. And they will even hold you a fake funeral like they did for Sean. What do you guys think about all the stories I chatted about? Do you like when I bring up these paranormal pop culture stories? I think it's fun. I like, there's the ones you have to weed out, which are like, yeah, that's crap. Like, I know that's not legitimate. But then when you compile some good ones like this, like Tom DeLonge, my future husband, and I hope that nothing happens to him, you get some really good stories together. So hopefully you guys like this, and we will be doing more of these in the future. But for now, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave me comments below. What did you guys think about the topics? Do you think they're legit? Do you think they're not legit? It's okay. I want to hear from you. What else do you guys want to hear next time? And I will catch you guys next time.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.